And now back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likis.
And welcome back to Bobby Likis Car Clinic. Great show today. Call with your car questions at 888 Car Clinic. On the hotline with me now is Rob Stuck, Trade Marketing Manager at RSC Chemical Solutions. RSC's been designing and formulating innovative automotive chemical solutions since 1924. Motor Medic, that I talk about here on Car Clinic, is an RSC brand. And the center of Rob's world has always been cars for over 40 years, folks, from machine shops to motocross to drag racing. He's my kind of guy. Rob, welcome to Bobby Likis Car Clinic.
Bobby, I appreciate you taking the time, and it's good talking to you guys today.
It's our pleasure. Share with our Car Clinic listeners and our viewers what causes performance and fuel economy to suffer when intake valves have carboned up.
What happens is over time, you're going to naturally build up carbon throughout the whole process. And what has happened is as time changes here with technologies, we've got port fuel injections, now we have gas-directed injections, and what we've got now is we've got a product that's going to help address both of those situations and the carbon robbing that the carbon does to your motor over time with fuel efficiencies, poor performance. And we've got products now, a really nice one in this FuelPro Complete kit that's going to address those.
Well, Rob, why does carbon buildup have such an effect?
Well, it has an effect because it actually can change your fuel-air mixtures. Once carbon starts building up on your injectors, you're not atomizing your fuel well, so it's not efficiently using your fuel in your system well at all.
Well, let's shift gears, if I may. What's the main difference between MotorMedic's FuelPro Complete and the fuel system cleaners that are added to the fuel tank that we hear so much about?
So one of the keys to this, and to get to that one right, is whenever you're starting to get into the newer technology like the gas-directed injectors where you're injecting fuel straight into the combustion chamber. Before in the past, when you had the port fuels, you could take a pop and pour. You can put it in a tank, and it's going to run through pretty much your entire fuel system, through the injectors, down through part of your intake, across your valves, so you get that solvency across the valves, cleaning into combustion chamber and out. Well, now the technology is starting to move toward more fuel-efficient cars. Manufacturers are moving toward the direct gas, which is directly going into your intake. So now what happens is that pop and pour is really only doing half the job. So with this particular component that we have, we've given you all the tools in this kit with the hoses and the directions, and what it does is it's going to take this product and introduce it into your vacuum line, and it's going to go through your plenum and now go across the top of that valve that no longer sees fuels to clean, and will clean up that carbon off of there. And then additionally with the pop and pour, because there's two parts in this, another one, there's a pop and pour in here that helps clean the fuel system, and then this one here will actually go across the valves and clean the combustion chamber. So what we've done is we've introduced this kit that attacks it from both sides of the system now.
So not only is it a liquid cleaner, a.k.a. through the gas tank,
yep,
but also it's what I call, at Car Clinic here, the black lung disease, which is the upper respiratory part of the engine. So that's what MotorMedic's FuelPro Complete actually attacks, is the upper part, the chest part of the engine, or as you said, the plenum.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's just so much going on there that people don't think about, that why it needs to be clean. You've got your EGR, you're recycling your exhaust back into your plenum. You've got your PCV valve, and you're pulling vacuum into there. So there's stuff building up in that plenum that people don't realize. You think it's just air going in there. Well, there's stuff that's going to build up inside that plenum and then drop that down in through your chamber that way.
Got it. We're talking with Rob Stuck, and we're talking about MotorMedic's FuelPro Complete overall kit. Car Clinic listeners are conscientious, so what I would like for you to explain, Rob, to the proactive drivers and our listeners, how often should the service be performed, and is it mileage or time or a combination?
So what we've done is the studies we've done, and we've looked at as far as mileage-wise, because that's really how long that motor's running. So it actually could be time really is irrelevant at this point. So what we've done in the studies we've done, we look at bore scope, we pull injectors, and we start seeing issues anywhere between that 6,000 to 10,000 mile range.
Wow.
6,000, you're starting to see the buildup of carbon, like if you use the GDI as an example, because that injector is now being subjected to an incredible pressures and combustion now that it's in the combustion chamber. So we're seeing from 6 to, we've even start seeing some clogging of the injectors at 10,000 miles.
Wow. So another question, is Motormedic's FuelPro Complete compatible with the catalytic converter and the O2 sensor? Because as you said, it goes into the combustion chamber and what goes in comes out the other end. So is it compatible with those components?
Absolutely, and it will clean those throughout the system on its way out. So we've got it compatible throughout the entire process. The only place where we have to worry about on this kit is anytime you introduce this, and you've got to be really careful with your mass airflow sensor. So this whole kit with the aerosol piece is always done downstream of the mass airflow sensor.
And folks, the mass airflow sensor is really not in the engine per se. It's near the filter, the air filter box. So not many vacuum lines or major vacuum hoses are near the mass airflow sensor. Is that not correct, Rob?
That is true. We just tried to put that in there just to make sure somebody's not like trying to inject it into the filter side, up close to the filter, and just spraying it at the most convenient place. There's, for most cars, there are some exceptions. Most cars are going to have a vacuum line off your brake booster. Then that is a really good one. The next one after that is the vacuum being pulled in through your PCV valve, and then this will really work through any open vacuum line.
So that begs one last question, if I may, Rob. Is there a danger of adding Motormedic's FuelPro Complete too fast into the intake system because it's going in under this vacuum?
Absolutely, Bobby, and that's such a great question. And there's a lot of products that are out there that are these multi-system products where people are left to pour it in at their own rate that they feel like pouring it in. And now we know there's a thing called a hydrostatic lock, and we know what happens is if you're adding too much liquid into your combustion chamber, you can have that damaging effect of connecting rods on through that's going to break and bend because you cannot compress liquid. So what it is on this kit, it's a metered hose. So once you click that aerosol button on, it's metered to where it's only going to go in at a certain rate, and we do guarantee that there's no chance of hydrostatic lock at all on this kit.
So the kit itself has all the hoses, it has the fittings, it has the directions, and it also has a metered orifice on the actual delivery can or tube itself that will not allow an excessive amount of the liquid to flow into the engine. Even if the owner doesn't know any better, it's sort of a safeguard. It
is definitely a safeguard, and the hose that comes with it clicks straight onto the aerosol can. The fitting on the end of it is a nice tapered fitting, so that vacuum line we know over time is they're different sizes depending on the manufacturer.
Sure.
So it'll fit into any of the vacuum lines. Some of the things we've seen before in the past with other products that are out there, people will uncook that vacuum line and just stick it straight into a can. And it's almost like a garden hose. So what's nice about this one is giving you, that DIY guy that's doing all of his preventative maintenance, he's got everything in this kit that he could, normally get to a do-it-for-me workshop that they do great work, but you've got a set of population out there that want to do it themselves. So we've got a solution, a pretty inexpensive solution for them to be able to do that with all the tools are here, so there's really nothing needed except to do it. It's very fast. There's only 2 steps. You have the aerosol piece that goes into the vacuum and then a pop and pour. The cans itself, the aerosol, will exhaust in about 2 minutes. So you got about 5 minutes worth of work and a great preventative maintenance routine to where you're always going to keep your car at that top performance.
Rob Stuck, Trade Marketing Manager, RSC Chemical Solutions. Rob, thank you so much for joining us. And the final question of the day, a website to where you can go to get more information.
So this is great because what we've done is not only we give you all the tools, but we also help give you all the education. So if you go to FuelProComplete.com, we've got a beautiful web page set up to where it has a demo videos of how to use it. So if there's any questions, we're building the database in there to where we have vehicle pictures, so you can select that you've got a Honda Accord, and it'll show you a typical setup on one of those cars and where to find that vacuum line.
Great.
So we've trying to give all the education and help that we can. We also, on that website, we also have a selection to where it's called Ask the Expert. And what that does is you can fill out the form, and and those emails come directly to me. I'll answer those. We also, on our main phone number site, where we have a selection in there to where it actually you can leave a message for me to actually answer any questions that you have. So we've tried to take away all the, people when they hear intake, they kind of think, oh my gosh, this is really difficult, when it's really not, and we're trying to help ease the people and give the education with the tools.
Got it. Great job. Rob Stuck, Trade Marketing Manager for RSC Chemical Solutions, primarily the Motor Medics FuelPro Complete. Rob, thanks for joining us on Bobby Likis Car Clinic today.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.